kind of like the Gragas idea, being able to split up the fight, get the cow out of there, stop easy, comfortable engages from coming through. And Carrier has, I mean, I remember back on DRX, you know, one of the most terrifying lanes for Defton Carrier was actually the Callista Gragas. His Gragas mechanics, I think, second only maybe to peak performance Toosin from back in the day.
Yeah.
But his support Gragas is absolutely fantastic. Theoretically, a flex, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say, in other patches, we might be like, oh, is it Pantheon support? Is it a Gragas jungle game from Owner? But I don't think in this meta. Ooh, I love this Jhin pick here. Actually, you have such great setup. Because you have the Fury, you have the Alistair for frontline, and they're going in. The Annie is also going to be looking to lock somebody down, and the Jhin can follow up no matter where Annie is. If Annie is on the other side of the Baron pit, if Annie is flashing a wall to set up the stun, doesn't matter where Jhin is because he can just instantly open up his ultimate and look to follow up. The problem is getting through this Pantheon and getting through Owner and the power that this Pantheon has right now in this meta, and how much of a team that T1 is that plays around global so well. Whether it's Faker on the Talia, whether it's his TF.
Saw work yesterday. It's a powerful top side of the map and some early game strength. See how it goes. We jump into the Rift. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for our first match of the evening and our second of the week. T1 taking on DRX. And as the Spirit Blossom blooms, see who's going to be able to take a victory here. Too much to worry about here.
Cal is a stun prepped here, so there's an angle to try to get Faker's flash.
Molten Shield for that extra movement speed. As Faker going to see what he can do here. Gravity Field is going to be pretty powerful as Owner coming in, Daggers coming out, and Sponge going to be able to avoid the stun quite nicely.
Faker actually having a really nice start in this game, so the big bounce back. You'll have to see this after the GOAT has had some mediocre early games. Not this time.
Well, Grand Starfall going to come in here as the equalizer goes down from Rich, but I don't think he's going to survive. Does take a while for him to go down, and Doran ticking, but still has 100 health, so he is going to be A-OK. First blood going over to T1 and taking down the Rumble, a big deal here for this squad.
Yeah, just such a long engage range for the Pantheon, and Rich didn't respect it. And unfortunately barely dies there, but does end up going down, or barely doesn't get the kill back, I should say, as a fight here in mid.
Yeah, Headbutt Bolt coming on through there as the Chaos Storm, or the Arcane Storm, as it is now known.
This is a really big timing, though, because the grubs spawn at 8 minutes. They're the only grubs you can get. Now they can contest, actually, with that ultimate from Faker.
All right.
Or will they? I think they should.
See whether Sponge can at least lock down the next one. Kind of important here, and is going to be able to do so. Arizona coming on in, and that is going to be all three. Actually, never mind. T1 actually able to get one of them.
Yep, they got
a little
final
bit
one.
Confused.
But it's still the feats of strength is 2 for 3 now, so DRX do get the objective feat of strength off.
Yeah, it's sort of not really how it works, but I just sort of divide the grubs in half now and just apply everything to half the number that I would have otherwise applied it to. And that helps my brain. As Lazyfield does find himself a nice little stun, but Doran answers really well there. And now Doran going to have to play some DDR, and look at that, side to side to side to side, and he absolutely nails it. Lazyfield even giving up as he just kills the wave.
This could be a trick, though. Good ward from Doran.
Yeah. Oh, Shock Blast almost just killing Lazyfield, and thankfully for Lazyfield, he walks onto... Okay, there's the flash, and the answer does come through. There's the headbutt from Andil! And down he goes! Oh no! Doran absolutely baited. Still does get the flash, I guess.
Oh.
But that doesn't feel good.
Oh man, it was so well handled by Doran. He avoided all.
As he does have to run back to get it. Carrier moving in. There's another headbutt pulp here from Andil, but Owner is coming on over, and Carrier is looking for an opportunity.
The laning stats here not looking great for DRX in this early game in terms of CS. Even though Doran died in the kind of lane swap situation up there, he is almost 20 CS up. As Yukau's going to drop a bear.
Yep, here's Tibbers. The Arcane Storm down as well, but not able to get another stun. And it is a very even trade. As, look at this, the Arcane-powered Tibbers just attacking the GOAT over and over. And that is going to be T1 locking down the Dragon. Flash pulled onto 3 though. Deadly Flourish comes down. Equalizes fantastic. Featherstorm buying so much space though as Gumayusi looks for an opportunity with the Flash. But now it's gone a little bit too far. Or has Sponge, who goes untargetable and just says, I'm an Ascendant. He will do so. The bleed's ticking, but not ticking enough. And Protect the President is in full effect as Gumayusi will survive.
UCal does not have teleport, doesn't join the fight. Decides to push for plates in the angles there for DRX, but the play on the side of T1 was just too good. And now Owner shows up with his ultimate. Lazyfield gonna get stunned.
Yep. Flash on in as Gumayusi maybe didn't need to be there, but Deadly Flourish was definitely not going to land.
It's really hard to, play this comp when you fall too far behind because, yeah, you can still, it's very simple, like you said, and we've talked about so much with Annie, but if the Annie doesn't get the kill,
This is a special stake delivery here, as Andal is going to be providing it. T1, all 3 of them just around the dinner table. Death Ray will be able to secure it, because it may not necessarily be warm. It's okay, teleport in. See whether Rich can find an angle here as the equalizer goes down. Carrier and Doran now to walk up the red carpet, and they do just walk. And now Rich is the one that's out of position. UCal came in, but is able to walk out. Had to invest the teleport in a play that isn't necessarily working. Let's see whether we find ourselves a stun, as it doesn't quite work. Gumayusi in trouble though, and he will just burn down. So finally they get their prize that they've been looking for oh so long. And Gumayusi does go down, but they have to trade it for this outer turret on the top side of the map. Faker will be taking that. That will secure feats of strength here for T1.
I think the thought process for T1 is while Faker doesn't have teleport, he could just call, all right, just delay the fight there. We have a Pantheon ult. He can join in instantly, and I'll get this turret. Unfortunately, Guma ended up being an unnecessary casualty, I would argue, there in this fight, but T1 were very aware that they had control of the map. They're actually going to live where Rich is...
Yeah, he's flashing on Faker. Sponge is moving in, but there's another teleport. Owner is already here. Rich is definitely dead, guys. And Sponge is just going to walk himself out of there. Did not need any professional dog walkers or anything like that. He knew exactly where to go.
Yeah, sadly we didn't get to see the end of that replay, as I really wanted to see what how Guma got cut off there. I guess he just wasn't quite able to rejoin his teammates and ended up falling, because I like the play from T1 there in the last moments. Now they made another proactive one. And yes, there was a split pushing Annie on the other side, didn't have teleport, but she's not quite able to get the turret. And first blood, that ship is, or first brick has already sailed that ship, so... Doran?
Well, he is going to go to the skies, and so is Sponge. He's just dead. Doran just locks him down. That was a very strange situation, and I don't think anyone was expecting the Electrocute Jace to just come out of their base, basically.
Yeah, that was... that last Electrocute proc probably might have made Sponge jump out of his seat a little bit, as he thought maybe he was safe there. Didn't flash, but did, of course, pop. Now Faker's looking for another turret here on the bottom side, as T1 have really just grabbed hold of this game. It doesn't look like they're going to let it go.
Yep. That's Mountain Drake going on down. They're kind of just taking everything. Cloud Soul, because it is, of course, T1. They are the most trustworthy team in the LCK when it comes to getting Cloud Souls. It's absolutely beautiful. And didn't even say anything there.
No.
Ice cold there from Doran. Eyes on the prize as T1 looking to start off this Rift Herald. Let's see whether DRX can find themselves an angle. There is Faker getting engaged on. The equalizer is down, and I think he is going to be dead. The rest of T1 now trying to escape as the Featherstorm going to get the flash out as well. Gumayusi
Blast Cone
uses all of his utility, and there is UCal with the engage. Guma goes down after Owner. That's a lot of shutdown opportunities, and now Carrier, nowhere to go, has a cask. So that might buy him some space, but the rest of them are just going to be killing Rich. These stuns from the Annie set up really, really nicely, especially in this moment.
Yeah, it's so hard to get away from this Annie when you end up losing a fight like this. And I was saying before, if DRX fall too far behind when they do those objective from now on, starting with this Dragon, cannot give it up. Otacon's on the bottom side of the map as well. It's going to be a big prize for them potentially as well, if they can pick it up or at least force a fight over it. As this comp isn't getting, it's not aging like wine, let's just say.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not terrible scaling or anything like that, but I would 100% agree with you, just because you're staring down the barrel of Victor Zaya, which can make Carrier take some poke here as the daggers do come in. Banana Brush control for both teams right now.
Rich could get a turret before he comes, but he's going to come down right now, in fact.
Lazy Feel, pretty aggressive positioning here, as I would be a little careful. Carrier comes in and reminds him exactly why, but they're going to try and turn it. Andil goes in. He is traded. Actually, he doesn't even go down. The curtains have now been called. And Gumayusi, you better dance. And he doesn't get out of the last couple. Owner puts up the wall. But I think DRX have pushed them away from this Dragon now and might be able to grab their first of the game.
Really nice flash there from LazyField. Played the fight really well there. His ult was well angled too. Rich on the chase there, forcing Guma's ult out, and that's a Dragon here for DRX. They get the kill on Carrier as well. I think ideally they would have liked more kills on top of it, but I think they'll definitely take the prize. The top turret did go down anyways after Rich left.
Oh, dear.
Now LazyField, no cleanse, no flash.
LazyField, you're not allowed to farm the mid lane. We've spoken about this already. There's Andil looking for a bit of an angle here, but Sponge going in. Rich turns up as well. Now the real damage gets in there. As over the wall goes the doggo. And thankfully they're going to be okay, as there is the pulverize onto 2. Doran burning down, and Yukao collects the kill. Tibbers is going to lie down, but I think that is absolutely fine. You did your job, big old bear.
Yeah. Is it the bear in the bush is worth 2 in the kill feed? Is that the
Yeah,
thing?
I think that's the saying. I think that's the saying. It's kind of an old-fashioned one.
Going in here, doesn't have his ult yet. If he had his ult, I think there's a real angle. But he does not, so I think it's just going to be that trade of kills. At least they got something.
Yeah, and I was being facetious,
of course,
gentlemen. That is not how it's supposed to work.
But it can work that way, and
yeah, theoretically,
yesterday.
yeah, it can certainly give you a little bit of a "it could be worse" type scenario. As this turret, not long for the world, Gumayusi able to walk up and take that one down without too much of an answer. I think one turret has been taken by DRX as well as Game Wolf, so a bit of standing gold on the map.
I think with nothing to protect or fight for topside, it was just the right play to group as 5 and look for that turret.
This
a big fight.
Yeah, and this is big lethality on the Jace as well. These shock blasts going to really hurt us. That's just chain CC, and yes, he manages to go up into the Featherstorm, and that just doesn't really do anything. So Gumayusi just caught in mid lane. A little bit of what LazyField was experiencing is going to go over his side, and now DRX moving towards the Baron. And T1 4 versus 5, they're going to have to go for this. I don't think they can give this up.
I don't think they can. It's going to be a really hard fight. Doran needs to hit a big shock blast, but he can't hit what he can't see. Might just have to toss it in, and he does. Hit Sponge.
Yeah, Sponge not going to be too worried about it as Yukao on a flank angle. And Tibbers is just being really frustrating. There's the equalizer as DRX look for the turn. The curtain call unanswerable right now, but the bullets aren't really landing. And Rich also getting attacked by the Baron. He's out of there. Andil's also going to be taken down. And T1, they answer the fight really nicely. Now they're looking for even more, but should they? Is the question. Owner says absolutely we should. As in goes Sponge and out he goes via the Death Chamber. As LazyField wanted to offer some damage back, putting some miles into the Infinity Edge that he picked up as he gets a big old shield, and Owner just going to be able to dance forward. Stun comes down, Faker finishes off the Jhin as Doran moving on over. Yukao almost in range, doesn't have flash though. As T1, DRX thought that they had an opportunity. They killed Gumayusi and things looked great, and then they bit off a little more than they could chew.
I don't know if they necessarily need to start Baron there, but critically, like, Yukao didn't use his ult on the kill on Guma in mid.
Whereas DRX, I think, have a couple more team fights to win before they have any meaningful advantage in this game. Puts T1 in a fantastic position as Carrier goes for it once again. Cast just going to knock Rich into the wall, and there's nothing he could do. He gets the equalizer off, but that is all we can really say about that. Unbreakable Will now on cooldown for Andil, but he still gets taken down halfway, and this is what I was talking about. T1 now just able to get picks, translate that into full map control, and DRX are just going to fall further and further behind. And a bunch of extra stats now as this Thornbound Otacon is also going to be taken.
If they all walked into Yukao where he had his Tibbers stun prepped, you know, maybe there's a world where that goes awry, but once they got a few kills and they were like, DRX had some really big plays in this one, they're going to need a miracle now to get back in.
I would agree. There is a very cool hat on the Annie.
I mean, the Annie is like 2-0 and 5, almost has a full set of Dark Seal, Death Cap. I mean, if he could hit a big stun or the fight goes longer.
Well, Owner's going to go in. This might be a bridge too far, as Sponge not going to get pushed away by that. Cask and Andil is just holding them in place. Can Owner get over the wall? That's the question. As Gumayusi says, it does not matter. He can go where he wants because I am massive, and he absolutely is. There's the double kill for the Xayah. And Gumayusi, I think, is a little upset that he died a million times in the early stages of this game and is going to finally get his revenge.
Yeah, he did scale very well in this game, even though he was caught and focused so much in this game. There's a lot of CC, there's a lot of explosive damage here on DRX's top, so he only gets to press R once, but in this situation didn't need to press it at all. as they were in full control, as Owner tanked a bunch of damage, and then they won the fight. That's kind of how T1 has been winning a lot of their series this season, hasn't it? It's been Atlas. Whether it's a Xin Zhao pressing an R, or Pantheon putting up a shield, that is going to be a Baron here for T1.
Oh, Doran just walks from behind LazyField's tower. Thankfully, he's got some Cloud Rift to try and utilize, and Doran, I don't think he's going to be too worried about that one. Never mind, they're not going to dive. Andal had just turned up.
And then the collapse is there. Guma's huge, and he just gets to clean up. Faker denies anyone else from following up, and, you know, focusing on Pantheon, the only option DRX had, but it wasn't going to be successful. Now Owner's level 18.
Yeah, that's a 3-level lead. This Doggo not looking too hot right now. Although it is a hot dog, so it's a bit weird. Probably should be at least warm.
More like a chili dog right now.
Yeah, definitely chili. That's okay. LazyField, can he protect that? Oh dear. Yukal not going to quite find the Tibbers angle. Kind of tells the story of this series a little bit as Grand Starfall comes in. Decent cap jack there from LazyField, but I don't think it's going to save his life. A spear will be avoided, and so maybe Owner is not going to be able to get that one done. Still, he survives, and they take down Rich as well. And DRX just a little too far behind, ladies and gentlemen. T1, they've scaled into this game, and they are going to utilize that to take down this Nexus here in game number 1. LazyField just going to have to dance away from some of these skill shots as he watches his Nexus explode, and I don't even think he's going to be able to do that because Carrier decides that he's worth killing. Let's do it.